The first night Sheriff Caleb Ward noticed her, he assumed she belonged to someone inside. A girl, maybe 12, sitting cross-legged on the cold tile floor of a nearly empty laundromat at 11:47 p.m. Her hoodie swallowed her frame, and her braids fell over her face as she quietly folded socks that were too big to be hers. She didn't look up, didn't speak, didn't move except to fold. By the fifth night, Caleb knew something was wrong. Her name was Nia Brooks. She never made eye contact. She didn't talk to anyone. She just loaded clothes, sat silently, then left before anyone could ask questions. People whispered about her. Some said she was homeless. Some said she was waiting for someone who never came. Some said they had seen her walking alone, but leave with a man who never spoke. The rumor that bothered Caleb most was the last one. When he finally approached her, she froze, not like someone startled, but like someone trained to. "Nia," he said gently, "who brings you here at night?" She didn't answer, but her eyes flicked toward the security camera before she shook her head slowly, almost pleading. He let her go, but the next night, curiosity turned into something darker. She wasn't alone. A man stood beside her, tall, stern-faced, wearing a jacket with the church logo from the edge of town. Pastor Elijah Brooks, her adoptive father. "Elijah?" Caleb's voice betrayed surprise. "It's late." The pastor smiled. Too wide. Laundry waits for no one. Nia stood behind him, stiff, silent, eyes empty. Caleb wanted to push, but Elijah's reputation in town was spotless. A respected religious leader, a man who fostered troubled kids, someone the town trusted. Still, something felt off. That night, something else happened. After they left, the laundromat owner called Caleb and said shakily, "Sheriff, I found something." Under one of the folding tables, taped in panic, was a torn page from a Bible. On it, written in shaky child handwriting, "Help me. He says I belong to God." The next night, Caleb waited in his patrol car with the lights off. Midnight, the door chimed. Nia entered alone this time, clutching a duffel bag like it weighed more than her body. She looked over her shoulder, once, twice, before kneeling beside a washer and pulling something from her pocket. A phone. Cracked. Hidden. She pressed play. A recording played softly, barely audible even from inches away. A voice, Pastor Elijah's voice, whispered, "You were chosen. No one else will understand. If you speak, God will punish us both." Nia trembled. Caleb stepped inside. She gasped. But instead of backing away, she ran to him and pressed the phone into his hands. Finally, she spoke. "He's not saving us," she whispered. "He's keeping us." Us. There it was, a word that changed everything. The investigation uncovered 3 foster children taken in over the years. 2 aged out. 1 ran away. But none were ever found. Search warrants revealed what the church never spoke about. Tapes, journals, a locked basement room hidden behind a false wall. Not torture, not violence, just control, isolation, obsession disguised as salvation. Elijah was arrested and the town split in 2, believers and doubters, those who whispered evil and those who insisted misunderstood. Court hearings felt like war. During the trial, Elijah never looked at Nia, not once, until closing arguments. Then, slowly, deliberately, he turned in his seat and smiled at her. Not a threat, not fear, recognition, ownership, as if this wasn't ending, just pausing. The verdict came guilty. The courtroom erupted. Nia shook, but not with relief. Later that night, Caleb visited her at the safe house. She sat at the kitchen table, staring at a folded paper. Her hands shook as she pushed it toward him. It was a note, not new, old, crumpled, written in the same handwriting as the one from the laundromat. "If anything happens to him, they come for me, they come for all of U.S." Caleb's throat tightened. "Who's they?" Nia looked up for the first time, with eyes full of truth and terror. "The ones he said were watching. The ones he said I was chosen for." She swallowed, and then whispered the question that made Caleb's blood run cold. "Sheriff, Now that he's gone, who do you think they'll take first? The safe house suddenly didn't feel safe. After the verdict, most people in town believed the nightmare was over. The papers called Pastor Elijah a manipulator, a fraud, a twisted guardian hiding behind scripture. But Naya knew better. Her fear wasn't about him anymore. It was about what he served. Caleb tried to reassure her. "No one is coming," he said gently. But his voice sounded like someone convincing himself, not her. Because in the days after the trial, strange things began happening. First, the cameras outside the safe house glitched, always between 2:13 and 2:18 a.m. Second, unmarked envelopes appeared on the property. No return address, no handwriting, just a symbol stamped on the front. The same symbol carved into the secret room behind Elijah's wall. The same symbol found in the notebook where he wrote, "Obedience protects, exposure provokes." The third thing happened 3 days later. Naya woke up in the middle of the night and found her window open, though she swore she locked it, and a single black feather lying on her pillow. That morning, she didn't speak. She didn't cry. She just sat at the kitchen table with both hands folded, staring forward as if waiting for something she couldn't name. Caleb called in help, federal agents, psychologists, investigators. But the more he tried to build a logical explanation, the more the evidence twisted away from logic. One investigator tried to trace the symbol point 3 days later. He withdrew from the case without speaking a word. A neighbor claimed they saw someone standing in the safe house yard at 3 a.m., but when asked to describe the person, their face drained of color and they whispered, I don't know. They looked back at me and I can't remember their face." Meanwhile, Elijah sat in prison, silent, calm, unbothered, as if waiting. Finally, Caleb visited him. The pastor smiled before Caleb even entered the room. "You feel it now, don't you?" Elijah murmured. "The shift." Caleb slammed a folder onto the table. "Who is watching her? What is this group?" Elijah leaned forward slowly. "Naya wasn't taken," he whispered. "She was chosen." Caleb's jaw clenched. "Chosen for what?" Elijah's eyes softened, disturbingly gentle. "To continue the calling. She wasn't the only child. She is simply the next." Caleb leaned in. "I swear to you, if anyone comes near her..." Elijah chuckled. "You still think this is about proximity, about footsteps, windows, locked doors." His voice lowered to a hush. "They don't come to her. They come through her." Caleb pushed away from the table, but froze as Elijah added, "She already hears them, doesn't she?" That night, Caleb returned to the safe house, and his heart dropped. Naya was sitting on the floor, facing a blank wall, whispering. He knelt beside her. "Naya, who are you talking to?" Slowly, she turned her head. Tears streaked her cheeks, not from fear, but from something deeper. "I don't want them," she said. "I don't want the voices." Caleb swallowed hard. "What are they saying?" She closed her eyes. "They're asking if you're willing." "Willing for what?" "To trade." A chill moved through him. "For me?" Outside, something knocked. Not loud, not frantic. A soft, slow, deliberate knock. 3 taps, like someone asking permission. Caleb grabbed his gun and moved toward the door. Another knock, this time closer. Not from the door, from behind him. Naya stood. Her voice changed, not deeper, but older. "They said it begins when one of us accepts the truth." Caleb stepped back, breath shaking. "What truth, Naya?" She lifted her eyes, and for the first time, they looked nothing like the child he met in that laundromat. Her smile was faint, sorrowful, inevitable, that we were never meant to escape. The lights flickered. A shadow moved across the safe house wall, tall, wrong, familiar. Naya whispered, "They're asking..." "Caleb, are you ready to replace me?" The house fell silent. The knocking stopped, and somewhere outside, a voice whispered his name. Just once. Just enough. Caleb didn't turn toward the voice. He couldn't. His body locked. Like instinct knew something his mind wasn't ready to believe. Naya stood in front of him, small but impossibly still, her shadow stretching across the floor like something separate from her. Her eyes flickered. Fear, then something else. Something ancient. Caleb forced himself to speak. "I'm not giving you up," he whispered. "Not now. Not ever." Silence. Then, for the first time, Naya looked afraid for him. "You don't understand," she breathed. "If someone doesn't take the place, the others pay." Caleb's brows furrowed. "Others." She nodded slowly. "The other kids. The ones before me." His chest tightened. "They're alive?" Naya's voice broke. "They're waiting." Lightning flashed outside, illuminating the window. And there, standing in the glow, were 3 figures. Still, silent, watching. The foster children who vanished. Their faces weren't twisted or monstrous. They just looked lost, held, bound. Naya took a step forward, reaching for Caleb's sleeve with trembling fingers. "They don't want to hurt anyone," she whispered. "They just want someone to finish what he started, so they can leave." Caleb swallowed. "So if I say yes, you're free?" Naya nodded. "And if I say no?" She lowered her gaze. "Then I go back. And so, do the next ones." His stomach twisted. Rage, grief, and helplessness hit him all at once. This wasn't a cult. It was a cycle, a trap disguised as faith, a legacy built on fear. Caleb knelt, so he was eye level with her. "You deserve a childhood," he said softly. "Not chains." Naya's lip trembled. No one ever said that before. He placed a gentle hand over hers. "I'm saying it now." Outside, the 3 figures stepped closer, their expressions shifting, pleading, waiting. Wind rattled the windows. The lights buzzed. Then, slowly, Caleb stood, his voice barely a breath. "I'm not trading her." Silence swallowed the room. Then, the figures outside stopped, turned, and one by one, faded. Naya gasped, like invisible strings had just been cut. Her knees buckled, and Caleb caught her before she hit the floor. For the first time since he found her in that laundromat, she sobbed, not in fear, not in obedience, but in release. Caleb held her until the shaking stopped. When she finally lifted her head, her voice was small, hopeful. "Are they gone?" Caleb looked toward the window. Clear, still, normal, for the first time in months. He exhaled shakily. "For now," he said, but his eyes lingered on the glass, because he couldn't shake one truth. The cycle didn't end because someone was freed. It ended because someone refused to continue it. And things like that, they don't disappear. They wait, somewhere beyond the quiet, beyond the safety, beyond the night. A soft whisper drifted, distant, patient, unfinished. Another will be chosen. Just wait.